Let's be real, life is messy. We all wrestle with loneliness, guilt, and shame.
Having a supportive community and the right resources can make all the difference.
That's why we started Healing Unscripted.
We're just three friends on a mission to bring hope and healing.
Whether you're struggling yourself or walking alongside someone who is,
we're diving deep into the hard stuff.
With insightful guests, real talk,
and a whole lot of heart. Join us on Healing Unscripted.
Hey everybody, welcome to Healing Unscripted. My name is Laura. A little bit about what brought us together. I'd say about 4 or 5 years ago, I think it was about that time that we all started our recovery journey. Recovery of many numerous things, and those are all topics that we're going to be diving into. But as what brought us together is that healing journey that occurred when we were able to sit down and talk to each other. We were able to be open and honest. We were in an environment where we didn't feel judged, but we felt loved. So we were like, why don't we do a podcast about that? See if we can help other people. We can just help one person, and there's not one topic that we're going to leave off the table.
What started my journey as far as, I would say, recovery was one, living on the opposite side of recovery. There's a lot of things that I experienced in life. I was, molested as a child. Being a Marine in a combat zone, that changed a lot for me as well. When I got back from Iraq, I was not the same person. There's a lot of guilt, a lot of shame, and so I didn't understand how to process anything. All I knew is in the Marine Corps, we get sad, we drink. We get mad, we fight. If we get, these lustful desires, we go do other things, right? But at the end of the day, we don't express, we don't talk about it.
You can't cry.
We don't cry, we suppress. You can't take a 17-year-old kid, teach that kid how to kill somebody without removing his ability to feel, without removing his empathy and compassion.
Humanity.
His humanity, his everything that keeps us from doing things like that, that has to get removed or he's not gonna be able to do his job. Right. The problem is they don't teach you how to get all that back. Community is huge in recovery.
Yeah.
It's huge. And having the right community is important too. Because what you don't wanna do, and what a lot of people do because they're afraid to either step outside their comfort zone, or people like me, there was a moment in my life I didn't wanna be sober. I knew it was ruining my life. I knew it, and I didn't care.
Right.
I just wanted all this to end. Yeah. I didn't care. But there's a moment where people have to recognize either I want this or I don't. And I'll ask people this: are you ready to do anything and everything it takes to get right? Because that's what it's going to take. And if your answer is no, I can't help you. Even with mental health, it's all the same thing. Just because you're not sucking down drugs and alcohol doesn't mean that you don't have issues or struggles in your life that are causing your life to become unmanageable or you're powerless over. Right.
And it also goes to show, just your story alone, that recovery is this lifelong journey.
It's a lifelong
It's not you
journey.
recovering in Camp Hope. You're still continuing therapy and work and diving into other issues that might come up.
We wanted to talk about how alcohol has affected us, how we have all used it to numb at a certain point in our life, but we've all experienced it. So we thought a great way for you to get to know us was to be really honest with our personal experience with alcohol.
I have been sober 4.5 years. During the time of my heavy drinking was after finding out that I had cancer. And that's when I went down this very dark path, because I was just going to do me. And so after going through that experience, that's kind of when all the mental health stuff comes to the surface, when you have to stop what you're doing and course correct.
Right. Well, you were diagnosed with cancer, so
yes,
that really affects you mentally.
But I honestly should have been in this period of being thankful, thanking God that if I'm gonna have cancer, thank goodness it's this, and that it's curable. Why I didn't accept it as that, and instead I took it as this doom and gloom. And
as if you were gonna go down, then you were gonna go down partying kind of thing?
Yes, because my husband was an alcoholic in recovery at the time, and we had lived with alcoholism in our marriage and our family for so many years. It was a full-time job keeping his alcoholism hidden. And I didn't realize it at the time, but absolutely exhausted from doing that. The whole perfectionism and the pride and the people pleasing, all of that went into keeping it hidden. I was protecting everybody, and I wanted everyone to believe that we were this great, healthy, happy family. and it was exhausting.
Well, you didn't want to expose yourself
And it was
and your family, like your secrets.
Yes.
And you'd have to tell everything.
right. And
Yeah.
that, if I could say anything, is one of my biggest regrets and mistakes that I made, is to not reach out to someone, anyone, even if it's just one person. I could have helped Jeff.
Yeah. Everything that you were hiding and burying.
Everything stacked up behind the cancer. The cancer was just the catalyst to
Unleash. It was
knock on the door and say, this is what I got for you. How are you going to handle it? And I chose not to handle it.
It was like
In
an
a healthy way.
erupting volcano.
Definitely.
Yeah. Oh my God! Oh my God. God, thank God I'm not insecure anymore. I'd be drinking right now.
Is that on the list?
This hurt my feelings.
Self-esteem issues.
Self-esteem issues. That's the way I was saying. Gosh, way to play into that.